Cammy and I just listened to the first rap song ever.
The first one ever?
Yep.
Or the first one that you both listened to? Was it like the first one that you two both were together that you both heard at the same time?
Rapper's Delight?
Nope. Subterranean Homesick Blues by Bob Dylan.
Oh, shit.
We are live, by the way, according to Restream. Much as you
hello, everybody out there.
Dude, I happen to know, and I said, Josh, to you backstage about my ex-bass player that I won't say live, but I happen to know Selling Your Soul's an actual thing. Did I tell you about that?
No.
No, but I'd love to hear it because, I love these tales because I believe 100% that is true.
You definitely know who my ex-bass player is, but I don't want any video on YouTube. If you want to hear about it, like once we kill the live stream, I'll tell you about it.
It's not John Entwistle, though, right?
Yep, you nailed it.
You were on tour with the Who.
It's not John Entwistle.
Not at all. Yeah, well, we've all seen the whole Bob Dylan thing, where he's
yeah, he comes out and flat out says it.
Yeah.
I made a deal with the guy who's running this world, who's the chief commander.
Chief commander, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. The guy who's really in charge. He wasn't even being cryptic about it.
Yeah, no, I know. You definitely know this guy, and actually I don't want to say anything else. Just hang out after we shut the live stream down.
Cool. But yeah, I think this is why we see so many of these older musicians, like in their 80s, still going on tour. It's not a choice for them. They have no choice. They could, but then they know what happens. They made a deal. You go until you die, pretty much.
I was confused for the longest time because I couldn't get a good gig anymore because I was a liability because of heroin. So I was like, it sounds like it makes sense. And I've heard a lot of really good testimonies, but why did no one ask me to sell my soul? Like, was I not cool enough? I got a fucking beautiful face. Like, why didn't I get offered that? I'm kidding. I'm being sarcastic, but I couldn't figure out why no one ever asked me for that. But I'll explain it to you, in private, because he's still a friend. And I still hope he figures. Everyone in the chat knows who this guy is. Actually, you know what? I'm not saying anything. Go to my Instagram. Scroll down. You'll figure out who it is.
Okay, hold on. I'll be right there.
And he's a good guy, right?
Dude,
the
best guy. He must
sucks, man.
He got violent with his wife, who's a good friend of mine, has been for 20 years, and I don't want to say too much. We'll talk later. Sorry. I'm genuinely not trying to be cryptic, but I still love them. They're multi-platinum. They sell out arenas. You definitely know who I'm talking about. Go to my Instagram.
And he, so he talked to you about this, huh?
No. What's funny is I got kicked out of the band for heroin, and he got strung out on cocaine. And I'm talking crazy amounts, a couple 8 balls a day. I would have a heart attack. And his wife, who's still friends with my wife, called him out on it. He got violent. And long story short, I'm worried I'm going to say too much. His wife talked to my wife, and she had to get a restraining order. He actually got violent, which is kind of weird because he's one of the 2 guys in my band that sat me down to kick me out of my band. He got violent with her and had a restraining order. And when he sent people to get stuff, his studio equipment and all the stuff out of their apartment in Las Vegas, they found some stuff. I'll tell you about it offline. I'm super uncomfortable with talking about it right now online.
Yeah, no. Don't even worry about it. We'll move right along. We don't want to
Okay, cool.
spotlight
Sorry.
that. No.
Well, I want to say, but if I say too much, it's like the internet's really capable.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
And also very incapable at the same time.
Yeah.
So, what was the first flat Earth thing that like you saw that just made you say, "Well, fuck"? All right.
Me?
So, yeah.
Are you familiar with the higher side cats?
I live not too far from where Greg grew up.
No
Like,
kidding.
right now, I'm sitting, probably I could probably drive to his folks' house within 10 minutes.
Well, go smack him around. Why does he still think there's outer space?
Look,
it's so frustrating.
He's in San Diego. He's over there in Southern California now. But this is where he grew up, was out here in Jefferson County, where I live. I know he says he does. I've also heard him say a lot of things that makes me
Sam Tripoli
makes me think maybe he doesn't. Yeah. I think
he knows.
It's easier. It's a lot easier to not even have to fucking deal with it, which is why there's so many closet flat earthers out there. Because it's just not worth the hassle. After 7 years of battling trolls, either in real life or online, it's just not worth the time. Most of the online trolls are there just to waste your time anyway, so you're not trying to wake up real people.
Right.
And spending your time wisely, you're just wasting it on these folks who are just some troll farm full of kids hiding in some warehouse somewhere.
So, I think Sam Tripoli does the same thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Like, he knows. XG knows. Speaking of XG, Rico's tinfoil sombrero. He's always ripping on XG for being a Mexican. I actually made up the name tinfoil sombrero for XG, but couldn't communicate to him. And since I have a Mexican name, I just adopted it as like, screw it. He's not going to use it. I'm the most clever guy alive. I'm just going to take it.
Nope. I like
True story.
Yeah.
I like it.
There were some questions in chat before we got started this evening about my keywords that I included for my channel art, whether it was for this particular one that I'm using on Zoom, which is the immersive gallery view. Turns out you can use pretty much any picture you want and just rearrange people on there however you like it, which is pretty cool. That's the only good thing I've seen aside from the whiteboard from Zoom. Zoom's just a big pain in the ass. But then I used the thumbnail for the picture with some other different colors and a different color scheme and stuff. But it was like rock and roll Rico wearing a tinfoil sombrero or something real generic, something just with your name and not too much involved. But I really did come up with some interesting concepts. And then I just started combining them and mixing them. And again, having fun with the new software that I found and came up with some pretty weird stuff going on.
Well, obviously, Rico's tinfoil sombrero is not my name, but can I tell you what gets under my skin? And you and Jaron do it a lot.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. Don't call me Rico's tinfoil hat sombrero. It makes me sound like my maiden name was Hat, and I had to hyphenate the sombrero part. For some reason, it gets under my skin, and both of you always call me Rico's tinfoil hat sombrero.
You know, I do, and I've been working specifically because
it bothers me so much.
It bothers me too. I catch myself doing it, and I usually do really good. I think, Zach, I might have even talked to you about this just a couple days ago, maybe Tuesday, because I did it then. I think it was Wednesday, because I did the same fucking thing. I said Rico's tinfoil hat sombrero. No, that's a bit ridiculous.
Like I hyphenated it because I'm so proud of my maiden name. It's weird that I'm the chick in this scenario, isn't it?
Rico's tinfoil hat sombrero beanie snapback. Right, it's just a little bit redundant.
Jaron does it every time, and I can't. I think he's fucking with me now because I pointed out with a secret chat. Like I think he might be doing it just to fucking. Sorry about all the F-bombs. I think he's really messing with me.
Drop them motherfucking F-bombs.
Rico, is somebody familiar with Jaron? I can't say that he is capable of a warped sense of humor.
I know
and
it.
most
I know it.
likely he is just fucking with you. And yeah,
It's working.
It's fun.
It's working.
I used to do that to a guy because he looked like the football quarterback that went to like this really good college from my high school, and he went the same year as him, but he was his backup quarterback, and he didn't play at all or anything like that. And when I would see this guy, I would always call him by the actual quarterback's name, and he would get so mad. I don't know why. And people would sit there and correct me. And I was like a freshman when he was a senior. I don't know. I'd get drunk and I'd just start saying stuff. I was yeah. But yeah, people don't like it especially when you keep doing it. I think I got wrote on with a permanent marker that night, if I remember correctly.
That's the best.
Yeah.
I'm like 80% sure Jared's messing with me because I've complained about it.
He probably is. Yeah, he's got that kind of sense of humor. He'll do it forever now.
Which props, because I'm worse. So props.
Shout out to Michael Brash from the Truthers Hour of Comedy THC for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Mike. Looking forward to Saturday. Apparently, he's got his YouTube back. I thought there might have been an issue with his YouTube. Or maybe just going live. Maybe he's not able to go live or something. I'm not sure what's going on. But I know he was worried about having to deal with YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff when he's having such an awesome guest coming on this Saturday. Well, several awesome guests, but not the least of which is Alex Michael. So that's going to be an awesome show. But he might have a couple maybe one, maybe two other folks popping in, depending on how half of them feel.
I will be there for sure. Walt said he is. I just heard from him. He said he is not feeling better at all. This shit sucks. And yeah, that was about it. Told him get lots of water, get lots of vitamin C, and get lots of water. So I hope you're feeling better, Walter. Yeah, get some sleep, man. Just rest. I think some of it has to do with them stressing out and worrying about their little man, their cat.
Mm-hmm.
They were so worried and stressed out. He just had his his biscuits, as Walt calls them, removed. And yeah, stress will do that to you. Stress can make you sick. And they love those cats so much that I bet they stress themselves out. Really.
And a big shout out to David Howard there in chat from Jefferson County as well, apparently, who has apparently got some messed up property taxes, which does sound a little bit like Jefferson County, which brings us full circle right back to that first thing that sort of caught your attention with the flat earth and Greg Carlwood and the higher side chats.
Oh yeah, of course. I had started seeing the flat earth stuff around 2014, like just in my suggested videos. The very first video that I saw, and I can't say I was 100% flat earth then, but was Eric Dubay as a guest on higher side chats. But Eric had taken that interview and put animation and footage on top of the video. And by the end of it, I was already like, man, I don't want to be a fucking sucker, but I think this is true. Like, I said it took my wife 8 months. I was probably halfway there in 1 hour. Like, it was just, it struck me. But I would do that typical fighting thing. I'd lay down in bed, I'm trying to go to sleep, and I would think, there's just no fucking way. This is crazy. I would battle. But I would say within a week, I was 100% there. But because I didn't sleep for a week. That's back when YouTube would feed you like real stuff,
Video after video after video of nothing but flat earthers. Yeah.
I was I went down the hollow earth rabbit hole and all that stuff, but I was sober and bored, and I knew I couldn't go out. I knew I couldn't hang out with my bandmates. So I was just at home on YouTube, and I mean, what a blessing, you know. Everyone thought I was going nuts, but I was like, oh, I was waking up, you know.
Yeah, getting that download.
Yeah, but yeah, next month will be 7 years for me.
Wow.
Yeah, the end of this month will be 7 for me.
That's so crazy.
All right, one upper.
February, I want to say 22nd, I think, is when I watched my first video. Math Powerland sitting on the couch, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take another little look, you know. And then I saw Jaren's "This Is a Mirage" pointing across Chicago skyline, and I was like,
oh yeah.
wait a minute, I've seen, because I grew up on Lake Michigan. You know, Michigan City Yacht Club is like 38.8 miles from Chicago, and I used to sit out on that lighthouse every single weekend, like every summer for years, and just stare at Chicago night after night after night. And that guy's telling me it shouldn't have been there. I went and did the curve calculator math, went and looked it up, and I was like, what? And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of scratching
Karen,
my head since then.
I'm also
but
a month
I was
older than you, so I'm wiser. I'm kidding. Yeah. No, that footage too. And also, I don't remember how soon after, but really? Drawing a blank. Feel really bad. Someone else just talk. Rob Skiba.
Skiba.
He actually proved that it wasn't a mirage. He drove, like, he filmed it to the location too. Like, that gets left out a lot.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Yeah, that was huge. And when he got way out there, it even magnified it. The atmosphere was doing something weird that day.
Mm-hmm.
And the top of the tower still looked about the same size as when he was leaving Chicago.
Yep.
When he was way far away. It was crazy, yeah.
There's so many proofs to me that I just, you have to be brainwashed or just in denial, like the whole Mount Canigou thing that Dave always shows. Like, there's no way that's refraction. Why is that not like the end of the story? There's so many things now. Like I say all the time, like in places that aren't flat Earth chats, I can't believe it's 2022 and people still think you live on a spinning ball. It just wrecks my brain that people are that hypnotized. Like, it does.
The spell is strong, man. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
I mean, it took me, even though once I looked, it was real quick, it took me like 4 months to click on my first Flat Earth video. I was really into Crow 777 and the lunar wave was going on.
That's another thing.
Yeah, like in November of 2014, he started releasing all that footage, and I was just like, because I was all into space. And I was like, what is going on? This is wild. This is crazy. And I kept seeing people saying, you got to look into Flat Earth. You got to look in the chat or the comment section. And I was like, this is just the most retarded thing I've ever heard. What is wrong with these people? And finally, I was like, okay, I'm going to go just disprove this to myself so I can start calling these people retarded.
Yeah. You know what mistake I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it.
I did the mistake that I found out it's super common now. I ran to my friends way too quick with this. Like, before I could really back it up. I thought, I didn't think like, oh, everybody's going to think I'm crazy. I thought, I got to show you the coolest shit ever. Like, I know. Yeah, there really was no thought I was going to bring this to people, and it went bad.
Yeah, it went. Too. I think I did more damage than I helped. Really,
I definitely did.
It's why it took my family. My brother and my mom are now on board, and this all happened in like the last 2 weeks. But I think me not knowing anything about it, but screaming it from the top of my lungs, you know, because first thing people are going to do is start asking questions. And when you sit there and say, I don't know, it's just flat, that doesn't fly. So, yeah, I think I did more damage than helped early on. But then I backed way off once I realized that.
Same thing.
I just didn't even mention it anymore to him, didn't bring it up.
Yeah. You know, another thing that hurt me is my friends and ex-bandmates, not only did it do a lot of damage that I didn't see right away, but I thought they were trustworthy. I didn't know they were going around telling each other that, hey, Rico's so fucking fucked up right now that he thinks the earth is flat. I didn't know that was happening until these guys, which I still love, I can't help that, but they were telling each other like that I was saying this and making fun of me from behind my back, and I thought like it was. It took. I started telling these guys this stuff like in 2015, and I got into an argument about the Second Amendment gun rights with one guy, and he was like, "So who do you think is going to do that? The same guy that told you the Earth was round?" Someone made like a comeback that was a flat Earth comeback before I realized they were telling each other. A guy I had never spoken to about this. I was like, "Oh shit!" They're all telling everyone I'm a flat earther. I was like, "Oh my god, yeah." You know, I already admitted I'm super sensitive, but I got off Facebook because of flat Earth because I realized what was happening. I didn't know. I thought I don't. I didn't know.
Yeah, you thought you could trust them to, you know.
I would never do that to them. You know, even when I was strung out, I was still trustworthy. I never stole anything or lied to anybody. Well, the biggest lie I told when I was strung out was like, "Hey, I got to go take a 15-minute shit," when I was actually fixing. But other than that, like, you know.
Yeah, it's well, flat Earth does that to a lot of people. It's weird how it triggers people so bad that somebody that, you know, could love you and is always super nice to you, they can get real nasty and mean real quick.
The godfather of my kids, we don't talk anymore. Like, he's no longer the godfather of my kids. He dealt with all the drug stuff. It's over flat Earth, and the straw that broke the camel's back was COVID. Yeah, we haven't spoken since shutdown.
You think that's what a lot of this could be? I mean, was Flat Earth released, and then this is it all to? Because Flat Earth does divide.
Yeah,
as much of the great stuff that it does and wakes people up and, you know, shows them so many things about the world we live in, it also divides us.
It does
dramatically.
And also anything else we're on to, as far as we're on YouTube, right?
Yes. YouTube,
okay.
DLive, Odyssey, Facebook, and Twitter.
All right, so I need to be careful about what I say.
I mean,
okay, well, yeah, I think it's always been like left versus right, Coke versus Pepsi, you know, flat, round, anti-vax. Like, I think it's all just more and more division. Like, and I think it's always been about that. And I think they're just pushing that harder and harder and harder. And I think, you know, a lot of people like the elite, they're not as smart as you think they are. I disagree, because they're getting their orders from demons. You know, like, this stuff's been planned. And the fact that me and this guy, like, we went through everything with my substance abuse, and something is like flat Earth and COVID has broken us down. I think it's all planned. And the crazy part is like, okay, you know how people are like Fox or CNN? Well, they're both owned by BlackRock and Vanguard, like investments. Like, they're owned by the same people. It's just about divide and conquer. Like, and it works.
I'm going to jump in there because I agree with everything you say. And again, it always has been about black versus white, Coke versus Pepsi, Republican versus Democrat. Again, always creating different sides to do this. But there's a really, really, really big difference here. The big difference I'm going to put in on this is that those are like perceptions or opinions, and this is reality. In other words, this is a deception being sold versus the truth of what reality is. And so your other ones are a distraction from, I think, the greater truth that's going on. So it's going to be a little bit separate, that they're not created flat versus round for a division. They have planted everything triggered into people's minds since they were a child. And you heard the rocket scientists were the most brilliant. And you heard being a flat earther was just something you giggled and laughed about. Now, again, it's been programmed, and you have your mobiles that float against, above your head as a baby in a cradle. Your Sesame Street, everything doing it, all of your space movies, every single thing pointing towards it other than reality. I mean, everything on the screen pointing towards it, but they do create the black versus white. They do create all of these divisions, and I think they do it to, again, keep people distracted and fighting so they don't really look at reality. But the difference with the flat earth reality is that it's not a fake dichotomy, it's a real one.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. It's not a created or perception one, it's a lie that's being hidden. It's Coke versus Pepsi. Guess what? Some people are going to like Coke and some people are going to like Pepsi. It's not a real, it's
no, I get that.
Josh
What I
explained
mean
it better.
is,
yeah.
I definitely agree with
I
that.
like
But what
Sprite.
I mean is the release of the truth of the flat Earth. I don't mean the fact of it. I mean the fact that
just
it
the
was
release of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
Right. The
Because
timing
it was very pushed at first.
Yeah,
at first,
we were definitely meant to find out the truth. And
Yes.
they also accounted for how many people would think that the truth wasn't the truth. Like, I fully agree with you, but it all happened at once, Like,
I agree with you that they put it out there on the radar, and I don't know, maybe as a test or what it is, but I do agree that the way it came up on the radar and went so swiftly and quickly,
yeah,
and broke through the common sense of it. Again, as soon as people were faced with reality, anybody that chose to look at things through reality filters couldn't stop but look at flat Earth. I'm not very articulate on this, but yeah, I do think that they had there is a timeline that they're working on, would be a fair hypothesis if that's what you're coming to. I'm really tripping over words.
Oh, no problem. And by the way, this is not beliefs. I'm just throwing out ideas I have about it. Like, this isn't. I'm not trying to state facts. I'm just speculating.
Yep, ditto.
Oh yeah,
we do a lot of that around here. It's cool.
Do it all day.
It's very, very laid back and chill here. That's why I had to giggle, and I was giggling with Zach when we were rebooting that. I find it so fun and almost silly that Rico is like intimidated being on the show with me, because I just I can't look at myself right now and think of myself as intimidating in any way. So please ask me anyway, anything at all.
That's so funny. I'm so intimidated. I'm trying my best to keep still. Like, I stop rocking back and forth, and then I notice I'm moving my hand. I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm almost going to back off on one of my two ideas about flat Earth tonight because I'm so scared it's stupid.
No, you're not. Because I won't let you. We'll get more comfortable, and I won't let you because I'm curious.
All right.
And we're working our way up there. We're getting real close.
Right.
Oh, no.
Get more comfortable. Kick back.
Oh no, my internet's totally failing right now. Can you guys still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Hello?
Man, I can't believe this is the first time we've had you on. When was your first show? The first time you'd ever been on someone's show?
Oh, well, okay. I told the story before. Oh, someone else's show, not my own podcast?
Yeah.
Well, actually, let me tell that real quick, if you don't mind.
No.
I had my own podcast, which is coming back. And because of COVID, my co-host has woken up a lot more, but we have we battle so much. He's a coworker, and we talk all day about conspiracies, and there's comedy in how different we are. So we started a show called Red Flag Rhetoric. Well, and I used all my clout with, like, I had guys from Stained and Kid Rock. Like, I was using all my friends to for the first 4 episodes. Well, the only person that I had talked to in Flat Earth that was anybody was Nathan Thompson. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have a guy on and we're going to show you Flat Earth. Well, it went horrible. like they got into it. Like it was my show, and Nathan Thompson was like, "Rico, shut up! I've got this." Like it was just as hostile as possible. And even though it was bad, like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, well, like release it. It's the truth. It's what happened. Well, my co-host wouldn't release it because he felt like he lost. Either way, so we stopped. But ever since COVID, he's starting to wake up more. Now he understands 9/11. Like he was really mainstream, but things have gotten better. So we're gonna get a show going again. But that happened, and it ended that, and I just didn't know what else to do. So I've just been trying to go on people's live streams just to get used to this. Like I swear to God, I've played in front of thousands of people with drums, but talking is really weird for me. Like I tried to do stand up. I did 2 open mic nights at a coffee coffee bar, and it went really bad. So right now I'm just trying to jump on anything and get used to talking. All because of David Weiss. I was chatting with David Weiss. He's like, "Dude, you're super funny, even with your temporary speech impediment. You should do a show." So that's what's going on right now. I'm just
nice, man. Yeah.
trying to put myself out there. I'm more nervous than you can imagine.
Well, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You really are.
Really?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
But we set the bar really low, so you have lots of room to grow. And that's a great time for you to come in here and spread your wings and get your feet up underneath you and just get comfortable, because all you can do is outshine us from here. So,
Well, thank you. I'm really honored to be here. I really love your show.
no, but we're honored to have you. We really are. It's we enjoy it. We have a good time. But that's what it is. We try not to take ourselves too terribly seriously.
I tell you what, if you would have told me Bob and Kenny was going to be here, I wouldn't have told you I have a couple new flat Earth things that I've been keeping to myself.
Why is that? Hold on, no. We're stopping here.
because it might just be so. I tried to work it out in my head. The one thing, you know what? How you doing, Zach? How was your day?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Cool. What's your favorite color?
I think, yeah. I like green, like an emerald green is probably my favorite color. On the way to a forest green, somewhere in between there, maybe. I like that darker, deeper, richer green. What's your favorite color there, Cameron?
I go between the blues and the greens, and I definitely love those. I love those blues that, like your Hunter, and that have got that shade of blue into the greens. I also love the deep violets, and I mean colors. You can't have colors wrong. Rico, I am so non-scary. I don't know how to. I wish you were right here. I would give you the biggest hug in the world.
You guys.
Okay.
You know what?
The two, you have to know too. Okay, Bob's in the chat room and not on the headphones.
No, I see him. I'm trying to act like I don't, but I see it.
Yeah. I am on the headphones. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the two is just an idea I have that no one could ever prove, and I won't feel bad, and I won't like.
These are the best.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have this theory. You know the whole star in the jar situation, where you focus energy and they look like stars.
Sunluminescence, yes.
Whatever you just said.
Exactly what you did. Thank you for putting it in English. So far you're doing good. You're perfect.
Okay, so hey guys. Ha!
Look up here, look up here, look up here.
Okay, so I have this idea that I've been working on, which is, have you guys seen that Freemason, the Russian Freemason that describes the flat Earth? He uses a CD. Jen's talked about.
I don't think so.
There are 2 different ones on it. I don't know if I've seen the one you have. I've seen where he's drawn like the dark soul beneath it and have drawn the lines up to do the moon phases.
Yes.
Okay.
So I have this idea, which it never made sense to me that, because I definitely think there's a dome. It never made sense to me that the dome is rotating with the stars. And it never
Correct.
quite made sense to me that something outside of the dome is the shape of the stars, which is a perfect clock that's rotating. So I was laying in bed one night and I had this idea that maybe what that Russian Freemason was showing was almost perfect, but instead of the black sun being way under the center, that maybe it's dead in the center, like where Mount Meru would be, where he painted the mountains, but it was right, like half of the ball was above ground, half of the ball was below ground, and that's rotating because of the Mount Meru magnets, right? And that it's projecting these points of energy out onto the dome, and there's actually no stars. There's nothing out there, that it's being projected from the black sun and rotating that way. And I connected tons of dots with that. Like, I really think that they're the points of energy out of the black sun, and the energy of the black sun is what these Nazis were worshiping.
Okay. We've been having the same dreams.
Yeah, I agree 100% that I think it all comes from the center. Now, whether it's below or above, I tend to think above more, but hey, it's just a thought that I have. But yeah, I 100% agree that I think it all comes from the center. The sun, the moon, the stars, those lights that we see, are all from some center point, in my opinion.
Right. Okay, so that's not I hadn't heard anyone say that, but and at first I was thinking, those things they make now, like my mother bought these for my kids, but they're little lights you turn on and they project lights all over the room if the lights are off. Like we got a Christmas one and you have things circling around with lights. I think maybe the black sun is like that, but only instead of projecting light, it's projecting points of energy. And
it's perfect. Can I show you even what's in my dreams, Rico? So you just will give you confidence.
Sure.
And keep on saying it, but gosh, I wish I had that one picture up that you're describing on the Russian video. I really do. But if you go back to doing it, okay, God, I hate doing this without, I need to pull up pictures. But on the Sephiroth, do you remember, have you seen Chris Pontius's work on how he reflected stars? And I want you to follow along with this, Zach. This is going to be a presentation, or in a way, it's been something that's been going on in my head that I wanted to talk about Karen, about, and you, and you're bringing this up, Rico, so I don't think you're crazy. I think we're having the same dreams. But the bottom where they show it lower, that is on the Sephiroth where the magnet would be lower below, right? And that's where I believe our compasses point to, because if you think of the angle that your compasses point to, but I do believe that that is projecting your stars out in sonoluminescence, not your sun, moon, and wandering stars. The reason everything you were saying is making sense to me, and I'm just trying to bring up the pictures, and I'm interrupting you explaining it far more eloquently.
It's fine. That's kind of all I have on that. It's just an idea.
But no, with the idea, let's see if I'm going to try to share and not mess up, okay?
Okay.
Or do you want to keep talking about it? Or do you have more with it? Because I think that you're on there.
I have oh man, this is definitely going to sound crazy, but I have a weird spiritual confirmation thing that happens to me, and I'll try to keep this very quick. In 2013, I know this sounds off base, but I promise I'll bring it home. But I was watching a DVD of the movie Zodiac by the same guy that directed Fight Club. I can't think of his name, but I just watched it for the first time and I'm so into it that I watched the director's commentary, and he brought up something, and I had a book about serial killers, like an encyclopedia kind of thing. Nothing to worry about, just interested. So I went and looked up what he was talking about, and I opened the book, and I'm reading this book, and right at the same time that the director said the phrase Hitchcock Psycho, referring to the director Hitchcock's movie Psycho, my eyes scrolled across the words in a book. Like, the odds of that happening are just extraordinary. Like, I was reading the words and the commentary said Hitchcock Psycho. So my wife and my mom call it oh, did you have another Hitchcock Psycho? Because since waking up, I've had them all the time. Well, once I had this idea about taking the Russian Freemasons idea, but moving the black sun. Sorry, that's weird. Moving the black sun up to the center and rotating it with the magnetic mountains. Once I had that idea, I had a Hitchcock Psycho. I don't remember which one it was, but something was on the radio and I heard it aloud or whatever. But I got confirmation on it, and I'm not quite smart enough to model it, but I really think there's something there. But that's kind of the end of what I was going to tell you guys. I got confirmation that there's something about the black sun projecting focused energy onto the firmament instead of the firmament moving or something beyond the firmament moving. But go ahead.
Okay, no, you haven't. I'm correct. I'm not sharing yet, right? I have not hit share screen because I'm just looking for things.
Correct.
Is that
I don't
correct,
see
Josh?
That is correct.
Okay, good. I'm trying to even think on how to do this. Have you watched any of Karen's or Austin's videos at all recently? Probably not, Rico. It's jumping. You just
I
jumped
watch
in.
everything. Are you talking about Austin Austin or what's it?
Yes, Awesome was commenting over Karen that she was doing. Karen did a really nice. I wish I need to pull up the video or the picture she did on the sky that was so good. But when you God, without that one picture that you're drawing from, again with your box sign and doing it, let's just do it this way. I'm doing this wrong.
Ooh, I hear kittens.
Meow,
Oh my gosh, she's in heat and I feel so bad. We need to. And I think they're lesbian.
Girl.
That's just them cleaning themselves. That doesn't mean anything.
This looks like it means something. I'm telling you.
Well,
That's fucking hot. I mean, weird.
ain't nothing weird about licking a little pussy. I'm just saying.
I can either meow.
Actually, the other Austin couldn't sleep when he stayed over here after a meetup because of this cat.
Hey, the video you need, Cammy, Bob has been posting it in chat.
Aha.
I believe they call that spamming.
That Bob, it's pretty darn cool. Let me do it over there. And I'm working on one screen and I've got like 10 different windows open. So I'm trying to find even where, so I mean, this is so good. Okay. Bob posted that in chat. And hold on one second.
Holding.
Holding.
Beautiful.
Holding.
I am William Wallace.
Okay. Beautiful. My husband rocks. Okay, now let's find my Zoom screen.
Did we lose Rico?
Rico.
Had to eat a crab ragoon. Sorry.
Oh, no,
No,
you're
you're
fine.
fine.
You're fine.
That's what they say.
They keep telling me.
No, man, you don't have to jump right back on, man. Go, eat.
No, you're eat. I'm going to talk. I'm going to eat.
No, I just
and
inhaled
we're
the
okay
crab
with a
ragoon.
few
I'm
minutes,
good.
but I want you to see. Okay, so sharing screen, and you guys be really. I'm going to share my main screen and pull this one up. That way I can do it. So it's going to be wrong at first. So hold on and have patience with me. Share.
Oh, come on, Cammy. Do it right.
Do it right, damn it. And one of these is going to be the video my husband just sent probably here. That would make sense. And I think you guys can see that picture of it if I full screen it.
Yep.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, Zach, with that, and actually I'm going to do that. I want you to, Mr. Zabala, especially because you're going to be most familiar with this. Mr. Zabala, you remember building this with there?
Mm-hmm.
Take where they're putting the black soul and make it this magnet right here in the middle. Going up and down the tree of life. Okay, right? Now that's going to create a rotational basis, and I don't know what it's going to do with light, but it will create a rotational. Now take Chris Pontius, what he's doing with light or sonoluminescence right there at this point, and reflect it upon the skies. And I'm going to have Zach maybe explain this better and make it more coherent. If I can make Zach get it or anybody, have this reflect your star pattern upon your skies. Now in your skies,
Is that a Zephyr?
yes, it is a Sephiroth. So remember on your Sephiroth lines, draw in your Sephiroth lines. Now have your sun and moon projected from above, like we did with the holograph, putting the firmament there. Keep that the same and have your sun and moon on the rotation coming in from
Okay, wait,
above.
hold on a sec, Cami. Don't change that picture.
Okay. You got it. Because I want you to, I need somebody to get what I'm saying so they can explain it in English. I realize I suck.
Oh, I can't draw on that picture?
It won't let you annotate it?
Can you mouse over it and point at stuff?
I could quit sharing and you could open it up on your screen, Zach, or you can come over and take over my computer here.
No, that's okay. I was just going to draw the Sephiroth around that. Put like 4 corners around that disc that he's got there.
Yes.
And then...
Right. So do you see how it draws it?
I don't quite see it yet.
You see polarity.
The sun and moon. I think if you pull up just a regular... Cami, pull up a regular picture of the Sephiroth instead of that 3D one.
You got it.
And I think you could explain it a lot better that way.
Okay. And thank you, Zach. You guys helped me out on making things. And I know this isn't going to be it, but this is going to get me there. This is also done with more in it. But if I take this one and close it, there should be more pictures somewhere. God damn it. I know there's more pictures there.
Looks like Masons, Jaquin, and Boaz. Yep, they go on the outside of the Sephiroth.
Right, I've seen that.
Right. That's not the Sephiroth lines we want. You know, we're going to do it the honest way, and we're just going to say anybody could go to Google. Oops, as soon as it lets me have my bar without cutting you guys off. New tab. Sephiroth. And maybe again doing this, making us go at it slowly will slow me down enough that it makes sense.
Hey, can chat see what's on my computer screen, or are they seeing this frozen photo that's on my phone right now?
I think they're seeing what's on my computer screen.
Yeah, no, they see your video though. Your face. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. The camera has 80 pounds. It's fucking really good in real life.
Okay, so look at your pictures again.
Now show where the Earth plane would be on this, Cam.
Okay, here's your Earth plane right here. Here is that black dot there.
Okay.
And I believe that is, now keep your magnetic fields here because we don't have the 4 corners. We don't have this in 3D, so it's not built in. So what you have...
Go back to the plane, Cam. Go back to that plane that we're on.
Go back to the plane that we're on. Gaussian pit
right
here.
There. Now think of that as being a 3D object. We're just seeing it from one side. It's got, 2 more balls behind those balls that we're seeing that go back. So that makes our square right there. That's your square.
Okay. This is
That's
a pattern.
The 4 corners.
These are the patterns that you get created magnetically when you take 2 dipoles and put them together. We're picking up a magnetic pattern. Now, so take that and take it. This is our North Pole running down the center. And this is the vortex, the tree of life.
Okay.
We can do your tree of good and evil or knowledge, of good and evil. Take your pick on how. That's your choice always in any religion. You can choose the good path or choose the evil path. I like people that choose the good one. But if you took here's your sun and moon, follow your lines there. Remember how I say they're here in the meriscope and they're projecting down into our atmosphere here,
Okay.
our sky. But if you follow his lines on the same video, your sun and moon would be in the meriscope projecting directly down, so they could hold those parabolic properties that they would need to in reality, if that makes sense, Zach, and that you can explain better. But the stars would be projected from the black underneath it. This is also where the compass points are going to go. They say, why do all compasses point north? People need to understand that what we have in the center and we call all compasses pointing north is actually a magnetic south pole or a null point. It's the exact opposite. We brilliantly named it the North Pole because the South Pole on the magnet was, they said because the North Pole of the magnet is attracted to the South, so it was easier to say what the magnet point was instead of the point of origin that you're tracking. It was the stupidest thing ever. You can't get anything to do it at the South Pole, which if we really had a dipole, your magnets would just reverse. But if you did run a wire around the entire system, it would degauss everything, and every compass would have to point. It would make the inside a centrifugal or a South Pole. So that's
I'm
how our
still
compasses all work.
about 100% positive that a compass could not work on a globe if you had a dielectric plane going through the center of it.
It couldn't.
It wouldn't. It would
It
only
wouldn't.
work like on the poles.
It would
Well,
only
You had
work
it
on the
lined up
poles.
with that.
it wouldn't work in a 2D situation.
But
It would need to point through itself, right?
right. Zach, keep in mind with our land here, remember how where you are on the land and the degree that you get pointing down, if your magnetic point that it's pointing to is here on the flat, you're going to get the angles that you're going to need via compass readings, like if you're using a seafarer's compass, it's round. Zach, turn it into English if you can. But if we put that over the painting, your stars could be reflecting onto your magnetic fields, and your magnetic field would be circling your pattern here themselves in pattern. So you'd have 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle, or a.
Yeah, if anybody is interested in doing the star in the jar, I think you can get it done for about right around 400, 450 bucks. You can get all of it, and then you could actually levitate water with acoustics and stuff like that. Because I guess it's not just a jar of water. There's a drop of water in another liquid. And that drop of water is suspended acoustically in that liquid. It doesn't go up or down, due to density and buoyancy. You actually have to suspend it in that liquid, and then you manipulate that piece of water and you super whatever to it with the frequencies, and it supposedly collapses on itself.
Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be a piece of water in there. It could be an impurity or crystal. In other words, it's usually a small seeded crystal, a small impurity that's doing it, Zach. A slightly different, like impurity in that other droplet could do it. But you're projected up from the center and projecting the skies. If they're hitting a magnetic pattern above us that's like again a central pole and the things, this would be more of an optical effect maybe sent down from that bottom. I think your sky's projected over here, that pattern the stars were doing is exactly what you're saying, Rico. If that's like from underneath there, that your stars are actually a projection, your sun and moon from above, but your stars I think could be coming from
I don't think
it's
I'm not saying that about the sun and moon.
Right.
Like purely the stars and wandering stars.
Right. Well, I think the wandering stars are in the same the wandering stars where they play with are going to be in the same, I would call, layer as the sun and moon on their own rotations.
Yeah.
In height
Well, I definitely
layers.
don't think we're seeing a physical sun and moon either.
I agree. Zach, were you able to, I don't know, I'm sure I've lost everybody, but were you able to make any sense of what I'm saying, that like from the bottom on that soul picture, finding the picture again. On here, we're seeing our sun and moon in this, but I think this is projecting our stars, and they're getting rotated like via lensing here with these coming up, but this is drawing your Sephiroth in here.
Right. Now see that. So the only thing that is different from what he's drawing here, which I'm sure his information is correct. I think you just have to take that black sun and raise it 50-50 into that center hole, because you would have to be able to see stars everywhere, and from there you would only have stars in.
Yeah.
I wish I could mouse this, but the
If
line that goes through the sun and the moon would be the only place you'd be able to see stars if it was that low. Is the difference?
Okay. If you put this,
Hey,
okay,
Rico, if you go to your view options up at the top of your screen and drop it down, you should be able to find annotate. You see annotate on there?
Yep.
Click annotate.
Did it?
Now you should be able to get your mouse on her screen.
Yep.
And be able to make notes and circles and other good stuff too.
Fabulous.
Is it working? Oh, I see it. Okay.
It's because I'm not a host. It says only the host can.
Oh, I can.
Okay, well, no, this is really easy. Okay, look at what's on the screen right now, and the two lines that make up the V part of the Freemasonic symbol, the V. Okay, so if the black hole sun was that low, or the black sun, sorry, I'm a Soundgarden fan, was that low, you wouldn't have stars on the outer part of the firmament. You know what I mean? Like it
Correct.
It couldn't project that far left and right.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Unless again you're projecting into a point.
You would only project that much of it, but people see that much of it. So that's why I think the black hole sun.
That's where we would have stars, right?
That's where you would have stars, unless you had, again, three magnetic fields where it was working like a kaleidoscope, in which what David Weiss was saying, maybe even reflections of, how they say sometimes they look like backwards reflections of what if.
Yeah.
Again, your three fields are going to. I agree with what you're saying logically, but if you're projecting it into a quadrupole versus a dipole feed, like it's being projected up on the loops. You've seen what the magnetic loops look like.
See, this is why I'm intimidated. I understood 3 of those words.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But
because I'm not trying to be. It's not that I'm smart. It's just that I lived with. No. It's not being smart. It's the fact that this was.
I go through this every day, Rico. Don't feel bad.
Rico, okay. As a musician, if you take me and you'll be able to teach me everything about music, you've lived it. It's what you did, and it's your familiar ground. What I did.
Okay, I feel you. I feel you.
Now, what I want to say is what I did every day is I had to put something in my hand and say, what is it, by what properties it has, what electrical, what magnetic, what. In other words, it was a game. When you touch a stone, what optical, what makes this different than that one, and how do you identify it? So I just did it every day, day in, day out.
Point understood. I completely follow you. Yeah.
And so I forget when my vocabulary isn't part of nobody. I'm not trying to talk smart. I get confused because I lived in a little rubber room too many years. Yeah.
I'm definitely not accusing you of being pretentious whatsoever. I'm just being honest. Like, a lot of people think, like, because of movies, that people are burnt out when they talk slow and they sound like a burnout hippie. But sometimes I have to listen to Globebusters a couple times to really catch what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband is so
We were talking
articulate.
about this earlier on the show. All those Walter Lewin videos that taught me about electricity.
Yes.
I had to watch them each like 10 times. And all I would do, I'd go through and watch the whole set. It was like the first 7 or 8. And then he started getting into the wires and stuff. And I was more interested about nature. Yeah. And I learned a couple things. And then I watch them all again. And I'd learn a couple more. And then I'd watch them all again. And then finally, I could start actually comprehending the whole lecture. But it took about 10 times to actually get it. And it wasn't like 10 times in a row. This is 10 times over a month. You know, because you have to get time to let all that info soak in and absorb it, and it takes time, man. It does.
Oh no, I'm not down on myself. I'm just trying to just be,
Yeah.
perfectly clear with you guys. Which, by the way, whenever I get in arguments with friends and they fucking bring up the 15 degrees thing with Bob, and the people that bring it up, man, they would have to stand in a chair to even come close to the intelligence height. Like, I'm like, you're so dumb. You don't understand how brilliant this guy is that you're making fun of because of clever editing. Like
And it was clever editing.
It
I was
was.
there the whole time. If he gave so much good information to these people, he put so much energy
I
and
know.
gave them good information, and they took clips and
Darren got shorted
intentionally.
too.
Darren got shorted too. I found it interesting that they really tried to make people with scientific or knowledge-based information as opposed to personality-based look stupid. It was an intentional well, like they said, an intentional set that they wanted to take because they were scared we were teaching it to the children.
But you know what? I heard.
No, I saw that, and the reason why they got screwed is because I'm sure everyone knows that it's Edward Bernays' nephew that is the CEO of Netflix, and Edward Bernays is the CEO, the father of propaganda. His first book was called Propaganda. So if anyone's into the show Mad Men, like that kind of advertising, like manipulating people into thinking like, hey, it's sexy if women smoke, like that was all him. And his nephew runs that, and Barack Obama is heavily invested in Netflix. I don't know if you looked into that. So of course they're going to buy this hit piece. Like to me it's so clear, but you wouldn't believe how many people bring up 15 degrees, and that's interesting. Those two moments get brought up to me at work. I work at a huge factory. I work for Nissan, and I woken up a lot of people, but those are two of the biggest things that get brought up to me. It did its job, man.
Yeah, what's interesting is he also measured at Pikes Peak and got other ones. What you have to keep in mind is that the fog fiber optic gyro, it measures light. It doesn't measure ground movement; it measures light movement, and it's something that again I would have my husband to explain like the specifics when we change the altitudes, and that again it doesn't make sense. They didn't take that part of it and put the rest of the information on.
Yeah, didn't he get between 14 degrees and something like 18 degrees depending on altitude? Is what I heard, something like that. Which just debunks the ball. Like it would be 15 degrees at all altitudes, right?
Right, but that's not what they're interested in showing in the movie. And the other thing about the movie is people are like, well, while we were in it, it must have been like this big production or that. I don't think that they understand that we had kids. Literally, I felt they were kids. They were college-age kids, maybe a little bit older to me, again, in the range of children that were making their first, like they're trying to make a documentary that was non-biased, just on interesting. But it was a cameraman kid with a camera and sometimes his friend doing another camera. It was not a
big production
at all.
So you don't think it was deeper than that? You don't think it was, because I've heard the narrative that everything was cool until kids got up on stage. Like, you don't think it's deeper than that? That it wasn't about them going for that?
They may have kept the projection a bit and used that as an excuse on it. They took a lot of footage that they could have made a fabulous flat Earth documentary out of that would have been even flat Earth, pro 100%. They could have proved flat Earth with it. They could have, what they promised to do is represent both sides, and what they swore and promised not to do was try to make it a hit piece. And they also swore not to use, like they would say that we're just trying to get you comfortable for the cameras with my husband. This is not, none of this is going to be used in the film. Like when he was talking about work relationships and that, it was during setup that they were just getting camera setups and nothing was going to be used. And this was not for it. This was just them setting up while getting to know him before turning things on for the camera. And then we were like, you promised that like you weren't going to name any of our customers or release information like that, and they were like, well, yeah, we did promise you that, but once we sold it to Netflix, we lost all of that right to have that.
And that's why
Yeah,
Jaron couldn't get all the outtakes and whatnot.
Right. So everything that they came in and promised is a couple of young kids are like, well, yeah, but we sold all of those rights. Everything we told you was, well, we sold it to life. So it's no longer, it's not ours anymore. We didn't lie to you because we sold it. And
well, there is an upside. Like we did gain a few people from it. Like people looked into it.
Quite
Like
a few.
I mean, I know it made us look stupid too. Like I was already, like I said, I woke up in March of 2015, but I was already, before you guys knew me, I was already on the team, and I watched it just feeling horrible. I was just like, oh my god, this.
I still to this day have never seen it.
Don't. You know what?
I'm not a fan of watching things that I know the outcome and I'm not going to be happy with. I just won't watch it.
And they also made it a love story
myself
too.
through it.
Oh, sorry. They also made it a love story. Like there's a plot too.
They also have many different editions. So like what they showed at the Denver Film Festival was different than the one that they showed at the Vancouver Festival, which was a little bit different than what they released on Netflix and that. It's not all of the same. And again, they can add and delete things at whim, as far as on the different showings and that. But again, the guys, I have nothing. It was a hard learning experience because.
But sorry, Cam. I was going to say.
Go ahead.
Mark was talking about this in an interview he just did. As horrible as it was representing us, it introduced a lot of people to Flat Earth being on Netflix. A lot of people watched it. And I think it gave people maybe some chutzpah, if that's the word, to, I'm going to go debate some of these chutzpah. I'm going to go debate some of these flat earthers. If they think this, I could tear them apart. And it may have just started a whole bunch of conversations out there that never would have been had.
I agree. Well, truth fears no scrutiny, man. Like
exactly.
We're here. Don't yeah, I agree with you, dude.
So yeah, as bad as it was, I think it did bring a lot of people to Flat Earth. I think it did.
Cool. Thank God.
Yeah. I hope some good came out of it because again, a lot of it with this is Daniel and like the one that did it seemed like very nice, looked you in the eyes, people that looked you in your eyes and felt genuine, and it's scary when again I can only hope they really change their mind afterwards, but just are they that good of actors, or are our senses that much to trust people and be used? Or it's weird when you think you like somebody and they do that. It's
well, there's agents in the music industry that are just as good, man. They'll take you out to dinner and tell you what shows they're going to get you on, and like same thing. I've heard Jaron say before. It's been many years, but something to the effect of like he didn't want to sign some kind of contract, but he had someone around going, "No, it's cool. We just got to do it for legal," and like this, and he had this feeling that he shouldn't sign, and they just laid it on so thick that he just signed. And it was something about, I think, getting the extra footage or the rights to the extra footage. Or it's been a long time since I've heard this, but apparently they were shining Jaron on for quite a while before he would sign off.
They didn't get us to sign, and they only got us to sign at the Flat Earth Conference rally when I was in charge of all of the volunteers and stuff in the background, and my husband was a speaker, and we had our hand above full. And you know what the conferences are like, right? They every 2 seconds we really need this paperwork signed, I'm checking people in, 500 people in the door, and these people keep on pushing and saying, you just need to sign this. Smiling while looking in the eyes and promising that it was going to do good. And again, it's just really felt like betrayal because I had that little blonde producer like look me straight in the eyes and promise to take good care of us. And if that's what good care is, again, evil looking right in the eyes, it's really, I lost a lot of faith on that. I lost a lot of to have somebody look you right in the eyes and trust them and then be betrayed like that.
Yeah, I don't care how polite somebody is. If they're lying, that's just wicked evil. It's even more wicked evil when you're doing it with a smile
A smile and looking you at the
and
eyes, and
sincere eyes. That's just,
she hugged me.
that's
She hugged.
horrible.
No, I mean, it was more than that. She told me like you were the greatest and thank you so much. And it was like a warm, warm, warm type of welcoming. And it's so nice to meet you. And I saw you in the film. And, when I saw it, she was like, she treated me like a long lost best friend. And she was young and friendly and like optimistic. And I was so hopeful for her.
That's the epitome of solace right there, man.
Uh-huh.
Like, even when I was strung out, like I couldn't, there's no, like, I've seen it before. I've had people do it to me before. Like, and I just, and you know what the worst part is though? Like they say, like, fool me once, blame, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I wanted to do the Bush
Won't get fooled
Junior
again.
version of that. Fool me, won't get fooled again. But the thing is, I still fall for it. Like I need to trust people to feel like the world's not a dark place, and I keep doing it. So
Mhm.
people that are good at it, I'm hopeless. Like I still do it. My wife makes fun of me all the time. Like, really, you bought that?
And I don't know. I go back and forth, and I lost a lot of it. Like, in the warmth, it was instinct whatsoever. I lost
Right.
myself.
Yep. That is like, really? Do I have zero discernment or judge a
Don't feel
character?
bad. I used to be exactly like that.
I am
Rico.
still.
Exactly like that. I wanted people to be good so bad that I would just trust them. And then I trust them again, and I trust them again, and I trust them again.
Yeah. I would
It's
loan
not
money
a,
to an addict. Just like
yeah.
more than just wanting to trust them, thinking maybe if this kindness of me loaning this money to you so you can get a hotel room will somehow touch you and change you. Like, not even trusting them, but thinking if I extend this new chance at being a human, maybe it'll help. Like, I'm way too sensitive to be a dude. I'll be honest with you.
I'm the same way, Rico. I'm like way hypersensitive, but then I'm also a little psychopathic in that sometimes it's just not there like it was the day before. But
Yeah.
I'm really hypersensitive in the same way, I think. So don't feel too bad.
I grew up with my brothers calling me a faggot all the time, and not that they thought I was homosexual, just because I was always super sensitive. I've always been this way.
Yeah, no.
Older brothers, you gotta love them.
Well, I was a girl with older brothers, so I get to be the sensitive little one with like all yeah, little the big brothers that teach you how to swim by holding you under the water and shit. Yeah.
I could see Vince doing that.
He did. Yeah.
He did.
He did. He also, like, on my first trip up the roller coaster, where you hear that snap. Vince was the one saying that, okay, I need you to, I'm not kidding you, I need you to hold, embrace yourself in this. That snap's not supposed to be there. We're fucked. We're gonna fly off. Uh-huh.
Making it more fun for you.
It was. I believed it. Yeah.
That's too funny.
Everybody should. I don't know. It made me a tougher person, but my brother's great, and my brother does have a wicked sense of humor. Zach knows him, so I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think everything
awesome.
makes us who we are.
For sure.
So, what's your show going to be about, Rico? I don't know if you said it. I apologize if you did, but I know you're talking about starting up another. Is it going to be a podcast? You said. So not live.
I don't see Rico.
Oh, man, I'm not paying attention at all. Some kind of jackleg.
I'm looking for him.
Uh-oh. Did
I'm
he
looking
drop?
for him in my view. I see Zach. I see. We have to wait for him back. I took over.
You broke it, Cammy.
I broke it. Come back, Rico.
Well, while we're waiting for him to figure that out, there he is. Okay. Cool. He might be grabbing some more crab rangoon. Yeah, they're gonna crash the space station, folks.
Oh no. Oh,
Where is it
no.
going? Southern Pacific?
I think so.
Or is,
Yeah, I think that's right. Somewhere south for sure.
where nobody can see it. I wonder if we're gonna get any video footage.
Is it going to the
2031?
Bermuda Triangle?
No, they're gonna send it somewhere else. Down south? I think they said Pacific, not the Atlantic.
I do believe that's right.
2031. Okay, so, yeah, it's like, well, what's next then? Do you know? Come on, folks. I don't know. Let's not start getting on NASA. It's too easy.
It really is. That's low hanging fruit. The guy I told you, my co-host, that we're doing a show again. Like I've at least got him to wake up to like simple stuff like 9/11. I've actually finally got him past NASA. Only took 4 years, but I got him there. And he's a smart dude. Like he really is. Like I'm not just saying that. He's super smart. I finally got him past NASA.
Yeah, I was wrapped up deep in NASA.
Well, and I know this doesn't hit a lot of people, but like he's a big Star Wars fan, and I think something is there too. I think being a huge like Star
Oh,
Wars or
yeah.
Star Trek fan, there's got to be something there. And when I
That's
say
the
huge fan, I don't just mean the movies. He knows the in between stories, the comics. Like he's really into it. And even though I don't think it's on a conscious level, I definitely think there's a subliminal
connection
level.
there. Yeah.
Taking his
Something that he
space
doesn't
away.
want to. Yeah, he doesn't. I didn't. That was the hardest part for me. It wasn't NASA because NASA's government, and I know, they lie all the time. So that was kind of easy for me to get over. But the fact that I don't have the chance to be the last starfighter anymore,
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
That's what did it for me. I was like, oh man, space is fake. It had nothing to do with NASA or any of that. I was pissed because, all those movies I love so much.
Yeah.
And I never really got super into any of them. Star Wars, Star Trek, any of that. I never was super into any of them. So I wasn't as hooked as, your buddy. But yeah, that was probably the hardest part about space for me to get over was none of that even has a possibility of being real anymore. Before I looked up in the stars, he said, oh, that's all of those are galaxies and this and that, and they got billions of stars in each one. There's got to be more life out there. I wanted that. I wanted to become.
Zach,
Yeah.
can I play with you a little bit for your dreams tonight? On the set front, we're building in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's called the Tree of Life in, mythology and Kabbalah and everything like that. Well, if you look at it as you built it in 3D and if you put the pillars on there, you'll see that it fits together fractally into something called a flower of life. I keep on trying not to go further because I jump way outside of the bounds that we are. But according to even the Bible, my father's room has many chambers. I don't know if there's not a chance of it. I just think that the way we're looking at it is all wrong.
Yeah, I always have that in the back of my mind that everything I could think about what's going on in this place could be totally ass backwards. I'm pretty sure about a couple things, but when it comes to the sky, I've said this is all just hobby. I'm kind of excited to find out with this new test. I think about the sky all the time, but I am not. This is on my bucket list. This is one of my lifelong goals, to not let that drive me insane.
That's a good bucket list.
Yeah.
No, I do the same thing, man. I like to call it mental exercises because there's no way we're going to know.
Right.
But it's so fun to think of. And like with the extraterrestrial, territory beyond the ice wall, if it's just us. I love the mental exercises. Like, in fact, I have another thing I actually wanted to bring up, but I'm so worried it's stupid. Like, but I go back and forth.
Stupid, man.
Well, I work on it so
stupid.
hard, but I have no one to exercise it with, and I've made charts, and I've done. You know what? Can I just say what the other thing is and get it out of the way so I can relax?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You have the
All right,
screen.
so I've been doing this mental exercise, which is like, here's how bad it can go. I'm kind of worried like some glober is going to take this clip and go, look how dumb flat earthers are. Like, I just can't figure it out. But okay, I think it's the first, but there's a photo of Earth from space in 1973, right? Well, I've done this exercise. God, is Bob still here? I don't want to hear it if it's bad. I don't see him. Okay, so it's 1,100, or whatever, 1,030 miles per hour that the Earth spins, something like that, right? Well, at the shutter speed that they would have in 1973, it would be a blur, right? And I've done the exercise of, well, it's so big, but isn't that speed the speed? And here's the exercise I did is, no matter how big it is, what if you back away from it to where it's the size? Can you guys see me? Or is the size of, like a baseball? Like, wouldn't it be impossible? Like, regardless of how big it is, wouldn't it be impossible to take a non-blurry photo with the shutter speed in 1973? Don't make fun of me. Like, I can't figure this out. I've been working through it. Like, it would be blurry, right?
I think that's a great question. Why would you think that's a dumb question?
Because I can't figure it out. I've been working.
Well, something good to think about, but it's not a stupid question. I was looking at from on there. There's a video with Mama Cass on it showing in the 70s too how they're working with NASA on this voice dialing technology for.
Did you say Mama, like Mamas and the Papas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's trying to do charity, and she's helping out the blind people, and they're trying to work on voice dialing a phone. And this is in the 70s, and getting the computer and everything to recognize and dial a phone number for tech in the 70s. And it was the latest, greatest from NASA. I think it's a great question. I'm not a photographer, so I'm
really?
not suited to
I've been
answer
so afraid
it.
to
But
ask
I think,
anybody
why? Why?
Because,
I think it's brilliant.
Well, because it's going that fast, but it takes 24 hours. So is it slow? Is it fast? And I couldn't work it out. Actually, you know what? My wife knows every secret of mine. I can't even ask her. I can't work it out, and it's been bothering me so bad. Like,
I'm just not a photographer. You find a photographer that understands the shutter speeds, and that Bob would understand and be able to answer this, by the way. That would be more his tech than my tech.
So like 1,100 miles per hour is that fast no matter what, right? Like,
right.
But
shutter speeds are pretty fast.
But not in 73.
No, I don't remember having to stand perfectly still for pictures in the 60s and 70s. I'm that old.
No, I'm not talking about Civil War photos.
Right.
Why did people smile in the photos? That'd be crazy. If you don't know that movie, you won't laugh. But whatever.
Yeah, I know that one.
10,000 Ways to Die in the West or something like that.
Yeah. The only Seth MacFarlane anything I actually cared for.
It was really good. But yeah, so I can't work it out. Like, because when I say brain exercises, I'm talking like I was picturing like a merry-go-round and like the center of it and trying to figure out the outside of it. I tried to work it so hard, and I cannot figure out if I got like a really good point here or a really bad point.
Oh, look at those curls.
Are you creating visuals around in your brain and making everything move in your brain and
Yeah,
to make
and I'm
visuals?
talking
Okay.
like around a month of trying to
Mhm.
figure out if I've got a good point
Mhm.
or if a Glober is going to find this clip and go, listen how stupid he is.
No, you're not
Here,
stupid.
here's Atticus. Hey, you're on the
Hi,
show.
Atticus.
Hi, look, bring up.
That's his mom's
Hey.
hair.
What's going on?
I don't know if they're excited that Atticus is here or there's somebody at the front door. Let me check. I don't know.
You see yourself?
I don't see anybody out front. I don't know. Maybe they heard. Welcome, Atticus. We don't know what happened.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say hello. You can talk. No. Oh, my the backlit keyboard. Like I guess it's energy saving. The lights turn off, and he likes to touch a key, so it turns the lights back on. He's helping me out.
He
Hi,
is a cutie.
Atticus. Hi.
Say
Hi, buddy.
Can you wave?
Say hi.
He's like, I see pictures and I don't see a face. Who's talking to me?
But yeah, honestly, I've been battling with this for 2 or 3 weeks. I can't land on if this is like. There's no way there's a photo because it's blurred. Get the light back on. I really can't figure that out.
I would think that it would be possible.
Because it takes 24 hours to rotate. So,
yeah,
man, I've been back and forth on
I
this
think
so
it has
much.
to do with rotational speed more than outer speed. But again, I'm not 100% sure. It's just like I've taken pictures of like a plane flying in the air and it's moving 600 miles an hour. But since I'm so far away and it looks like it's moving so slow, my camera can take pictures of it, and you can.
Okay, all right. See, I knew it was. Okay.
I don't know.
I've been
but
back
yeah,
and forth on this for so long.
So,
but definitely not dumb.
Here's a cool thing.
Dumb.
Thank you. Even if you're just being kind, thank you. Like I couldn't figure it out, and the one friend that I trust that would figure it out is a Glober, and I definitely didn't want to give him a point. I'm like, this is why you think it's flat, because you're fucking retarded.
So my wife and I were talking a lot of flat Earth this weekend, and she got to thinking about cameras. She used to be a professional photographer once upon a time, and she got to thinking about all those Apollo missions and the cameras they would have used and some of the conditions there on the moon. And she was wondering about how a camera operates and how many things in there operate by weight, by gravity, and allowing things to fall back into position. And she got to wondering what kind of camera would be needed at 1/7 the gravity on the moon. So she's thinking, we're talking, she breaks out her camera, she's adjusting settings, looking at the moon landing photos, looking at the footage that they showed everybody on the television. And she's trying to wrap her brain around what was going on there. So she's digging, she's researching the camera stuff. I'm like, I know somebody who would probably know this and probably has already looked into it. So she's there busy researching. I pick up the phone. I call Jonathan from Jersey. I said, all right, throw him on speakerphone. And then Jonathan, who spends some time behind the camera, and my wife, who has spent some time behind the camera, get to talking, right? And they get to talking cameras and get to having all sorts of good, passionate camera talk about the moon and the 18,000 pictures that those astronauts managed to click up on the moon and the magazines for the film and how the special deadline magazines would have to be to hold film going through the Van Allen radiation belts, and how many magazines would you need for 18,000 films, and how do they carry all those magazines to and from, and all this just really good stuff. They're breaking out the lenses, they're looking at the bodies, they're just having a great conversation. And I thought, man, I need to get this on the air. So if I'm going to try to one of these days either pre-record it or have them do it live here, maybe on a Friday night. But have them sort of have that conversation again and do some research and see exactly how feasible it would be to actually just throw a Hasselblad lens up on a camera and just start snapping pictures away at the moon. And the camera being able to work. Mind you, astronauts had pressurized suits on, so it's not like they were super nimble fingers. And the cameras,
Suits that also could like shift. What is it? Plus and minus 200 degrees. To keep
exactly,
them.
yeah, between the night and the day, and if the
It's so
sun,
stupid.
if the moon reflects the sun, where is the light source coming from? Is it coming from the sun? And how much light is being bounced off the lunar surface back up into the eyes of the astronauts? And it's not
Right,
like they
right.
can check their settings on their cameras because they're mounted to their chests. So there's no viewfinder, right? So they have to, they don't have a light meter. They can't know what the lighting is on the moon. They're not checking the lighting and adjusting their camera accordingly. There's no viewfinder. There's no light meter. They're doing all this stuff completely blind because they have a helmet on. They can't see it. They can't move their fingers. They're hardly nimble at all. So they're having to make all of these adjustments for these cameras strapped to their chests. And 18,000
So I know we're preaching to the choir,
perfect
but it's
pictures.
so ridiculous. It's not even
perfect, just spot on, dead perfect pictures. I mean, everything is just. I mean, sometimes there's a few too many shadows, sure, but that's just completely unnatural. Other than that, there were some really good pictures, and the chances of them going from Earth to the moon, making those adjustments on these cameras with the film and all this stuff. So just listening to them have this conversation was really good. So if you want, we can have you come on and you can talk with Jonathan from Jersey and my wife and jump in on this whole camera conversation, and you can ask him about the shutter speed and exactly how fast it would have to be to take a picture of a planet rotating at 1,000 miles an hour.
See, I can't work out. I just can't work out. You know what? It takes 24 hours for it to rotate.
Right.
I can't.
Okay,
man,
so look.
I've done mental exercises so long.
So if you're watching a race car, a car race, and the cars are driving in circles and you're watching, and those cars are booking it at 1,000 miles an hour around that track, and you're there and you try to snap a picture, it's not going to really go so well because it's going to be moving way too fast for you to snap that picture.
So 1,100 miles per hour is that no matter what, if you're focused on one spot, right?
Well, what if...
And if people say it's about size, then, okay, you got this huge planet, but if you back up, is size relative?
Is it? Because if the track is 25,000 miles long, right? So you're far enough and you're seeing that little bitty speck move at 1,000 miles every hour. So it goes 24 hours to get down that track. That little bitty speck, as it travels 1,000 miles an hour, because now you can see the whole fucking track. But it's 25,000 miles long, and it takes an hour to only go 1,000 miles for that little speck because it's only going 1,000 miles an hour. Now, when you're down there next to it, it's a blur trying to take that picture. But when you're that far away and you can see that whole track and that little car is 1,000 miles, it takes an hour, and there's 25,000 miles to go, then you can get a better. It's a lot easier to snap that shutter speed because you have have that better perspective of what's going on. You're not so close to it.
I'm telling you, I battled this so. And you know what? I wanted to call Austin, actually 2 Austins with it. And after I got your number, I was like, hey, before I
fuck it, let's just call the whole city in Texas. Let's call everybody.
I was so scared to admit that I was like, is this a thing? Like, am I retarded? I could not work it out. And I did, I mean, really, really deep thought experience trying to figure out if I had something here. Like,
now that makes me think about, okay, these high altitude satellites, right? That are not geosynchronous. They're supposedly moving around the Earth like they're zipping.
Yep.
They're cruising around the Earth real fast. Now, could they take a picture of something on the ground and have it be a perfect image?
Oh, that's another good point.
Only like when a broken watch is right twice a day. Only when it reaches that exact perfect speed, whether it's going.
But we're showing these movies about military satellites that are outside the atmosphere. You know what? There's so much bullshit to work through mentally. Like, I think our brains can work well once we wake up, but when you really think about a lot of it, and is there a setting like, okay, this side we're going to launch this satellite, so it's going to be it's going to fall around the Earth, or it's going to be geocentric or what's the word?
Synchronous.
Stationary.
Yeah. So how do they choose which one happens? Like, it's
The
It's retarded.
geosynchronous, they say, have to
Geosynchronous,
go.
that's
Yeah, they have to go so far. They're, I believe, further out. So they're still falling around the Earth, but they're so
Okay.
far away that they're not falling faster than the Earth. They're actually like the ISS, is supposedly falling around the Earth, and it's every 90 minutes it goes around the Earth one time. So it's cooking way faster than even that 1,000 miles an hour.
Dude, I wish I could
But
do some cool story
yeah,
pro glasses right now.
cool story, bro. Yeah, but yeah, the geosynchronous, I believe, are much further out and moving about that same speed, but it just so happens to line up with the Earth's rotation because its circumference that it has to go is so much larger. So even though it's going, 17 times faster than
You
the
want to?
Earth,
No.
no.
Oh, they heard you.
Oh, no, not at all.
I wanted to show you my wife.
No, I'm good. I've already gone, bedtime routine.
Oh,
We
okay.
love your husband.
Oh, thank you. I do too. Thanks for putting up with him.
Oh, come on. I'm
He's
not that
awesome.
bad. I'm pretty rough. I'm a piece of work.
Do you want me to take him?
He's all right, I guess.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to bed. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Sleep well.
Love you.
Nice.
Sweetest dreams. Nice to meet you.
So you're going to be doing a podcast, right?
Yeah, and it's with a Glober, but he's awake to some stuff, and it's pretty comedic because we don't agree on stuff, and I think I'm just trying to tell myself it's good, but it's just something to do, and he's a good guy.
I
and
gotta tell you, I don't think I've
I-
seen it yet. I don't think I've seen that yet.
Well, also our first episode back is going to be with Dave.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm hoping.
Well, he's
and-
going to be a flat earther by episode 2.
Well, there's 4 episodes up. He wouldn't post the Nathan Thompson video because they just fucking got into it. It was rough.
Yeah, no.
Which is why I
yeah,
quit the podcast,
understandable.
because I was like, hey, it was rough, but it's kind of shitty not to post it. That's, just not ethically cool to not post something you felt went wrong. At the time, I didn't know Nathan Thompson was going to be hostile. They were both really hostile. Like, I barely said anything, so he didn't post it. But he's been waking up. Like, now he understands 9/11. Like, he was a super normie. But I love the dude to death. Like, we're good friends. And I don't bring up Flat Earth because it's the only time he ever gets hostile. Like, he gets, like, visually pissed off when I bring it up, when I try to show him anything. And I told him, he asked me if we could do it again. And I'm like, we can do it again if we have David Weiss on and do another attempt at this. If it doesn't get hostile and you really listen, no matter where you land on it, then I'll do it with you again. So that's what's up. And I'm in the middle of oral surgery, so I'm waiting to get that done too. So we're waiting till March and then getting that going. So for now, anyone that will have me on their show, like, I'm just trying to get used to being in front of the camera. This is really hard for me. I'm more nervous than you probably can tell, or maybe you can tell.
You're doing really, really good. By the
Really?
way,
Thank you.
should I
I'm
make
so
you nervous?
nervous.
I ran that question by Bob and I watched his face for his reaction.
Facepalm?
I looked at it. No, he didn't facepalm at all. I watched his eyes start whizzing and his mind start going, and he's starting to do. And he started, well, the shutter speed will wait, but if it was dark, they'd have to do the exposure. I just watched his mind start working and running with it. He's not there, but he says, like, for sure on the ISS, the star trails 1,000,000%. There is, like, no way that's a total joke to have the ISS moving and at the speed and able to capture the star trails, which, again, when you think about it, it's hysterical.
Yeah.
But as far as having blur, some amount of, even if in their model, if you're on the moon, your moon is like that one face is always facing it, so you would be in one spot, and the Earth would be just rotating in single spot there. But even if you didn't have a side-to-side blur on it, which still has to occur, but the way they magically put the moon, let's let's go with them and say it doesn't, you're still going to have the cloud blurrage and a twirl blurrage, especially around
Right.
the equator. When you zoom in, in fact, I would think there would have to be some type of a distortion. Again,
Hey,
with
you
the
know what?
setting, I'm not positive, but in other words, I don't think it's a stupid question at all.
You know
I
what?
don't have an
You had
answer.
me, and it's not a stupid question. The fact that you're not like, I was so worried it was going to be the dumbest, like some baller is going to use this as like, here's how dumb flat earthers are. Like, I could not land on this. I've been working through it in my mind. Just the fact that there's any conversation between you and Bob, you just made my night. I was so nervous to bring that up because I couldn't work through it. I was so deep in it that I couldn't work through it. So it's really cool.
I love the thought puzzles and experiments and different ways of begin looking out and thinking. I think that's how we progress. And so even if there's one, you're going to get some wrong. So in other words, if you throw different thoughts out there, you can't have every thought right. That's silly. We're so worried about getting shut down and made fun of by having ideas. And that's part of the really rotten thing, the trolling in the UT community, or just the way we treat each other, has put on us, and movies like Behind the Curve. But the key to growing is curiosity. And if you don't ask the questions, we'll never know what the right questions are to get the right answers. You got to ask a lot of questions to even ask the right ones, Not all of our questions can be right. And to expect 100% correct questions even is inhuman. It just means you're not really it means you're not trying. It means you're not putting yourself out there at all.
And don't underestimate the idiocy of ballers. There's still going to be ballers that may come along and use it and say it. I mean, you probably already said something that some baller somewhere is laughing at, but fuck them, because they're not able to think critically. So you can't expect them to look for decent information and sort through it and kind of sift. Nope, they don't think. If they thought they wouldn't be in that conversation to begin with.
And they are looking for ways to make fun of. I get made fun of with like every possible idea. I don't care what they think. You have to almost get to that point. I care what people I care about think. And I'm looking for truth, not popularity. And again, with this truth comes a lot of people that have been, in my mind, very, very intentionally pre-programmed to be hostile at the idea. And you can
super harsh people.
Yeah. And again, you can actually look at the programming they got. You can dissect it and see how it was there and put into place and say, brilliant, but that doesn't help it. People will go after you, say that it's maybe an idiot idea. And what I've learned is the smartest and best ideas that we've had are the ones they've gone after us the hardest. I think with that 15 degrees that they go after Bob and keep that type of thing, I think that's because a lot of real answers are there, and again, they turn it into a trigger. So,
and it's an easy target too. Mm-hmm. Like, it's an easy target. In Jaren's, mm-hmm. That's interesting. Like,
that's interesting.
It's easy, and it's also pretty telling that, you know what RT is? I think it stands for Russian Today. That news site. Well, they often do spacewalks and they do rocket launches and stuff. And I go in there going, hey, I think this is bogus. And I've literally never made fun of anybody that buys it. I go in there to try to go, hey, look at this, look at that. And the hostility is insane. Like, it's always personal attacks. Like, I think that may be like I'm not an expert on psychology, but I think the fact that you go up with personal attacks instead of presenting me with proof of something or, alternative facts, the fact that it's hostility, I think might be like a telltale that it's indoctrination and
100%.
They're agitated that their indoctrination is being messed with. You know?
Well, and it's even more than just
Yes.
indoctrination. It's almost like Stockholm syndrome. They're defending the people that have indoctrinated them.
Well, most people only
Right.
have ever heard about the flat Earth from the very person that taught them the heliocentric model.
Yeah.
Most of them were so young that the people that were teaching them history were teaching them science, and we're intermingling the two, using the other to back up and verify the first. See, history verifies science, science verifies history. Well, doesn't that work out fucking well?
Yeah. I saw in my feed, I saw flat Earth videos as in 2014, but I thought it was so retarded. I was into everything else, like Hollow Earth and just you name it. I was clicking on anything because I was bored.
Nibiru. Were you a
Yeah,
Nibiru guy?
yeah.
Me too.
Planet X, like,
Yep.
and as crazy as those things are, I would click on those videos and check it out with an open mind. But I'm not clicking on flat Earth, and that was taught to us. I don't remember the exact story, but I do remember some people calling. You know what? I can't remember it, but I do remember just being taught in grade school that there were people that thought the Earth was flat, and they were
And
made
they'd
fun
fall
of.
off the edge.
Yeah. Well, definitely
Yeah,
there's
the
an
boats
edge.
would go off the edge.
Space is
Yeah.
real. Yeah. Mixing the models is the most clever thing. The
Yep.
whole thing with Obama talking about flat Earth society is the most clever propaganda ever. Because everyone I talk to, they immediately think, a disc in space.
Mm-hmm.
It's really
were
clever.
Trained to think. Yeah, the mixing of the models, because
Yep.
people tend to do it. Shit, I still do it. When I, excuse me, when I talk about the sun and moon, I'll still think that the moon's light is coming from the sun for some reason. You know, it's just part of that model that's still stuck in my head every once in a while. And it's like, wait, what if the moon's just making its own light? You know,
Right.
we don't know these things. Yeah, I still do it.
He's asleep.
Zach used marshmallows to prove impossible moon phases, to show that it couldn't possibly be reflecting sunlight. Woke up lots of people to these impossible moon phases, and still, because the conditioning is so ingrained, it's like, oh yeah, that's right, that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we talked about the lunar wave earlier. Like, I honestly don't think we're seeing. I think we're seeing a projection or something. At the very minimal, we're seeing it through an atmosphere. You definitely know those under ocean bodies of water. You know, where at very least we're seeing the opposite of that. Like the lunar wave to me is like one of the best proofs that we're not looking at what we think we're looking at.
Yeah, that one broke my brain when I first started hearing about it.
Yeah, me too. And didn't it get censored too? Like,
oh yeah, big time.
It got censored.
They took Crow's channel. They took him off YouTube for a while.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was one of those big victories. He came out and said, "Hey, everybody, reach out to YouTube. Tell them this censorship is horseshit." And they did, and sure shit, they actually gave him his channel back, surprisingly.
Dope. I love those guys. I love Rose.
Yeah, she's got the machine of a computer. You can say a line from one of Crow 777 shows.
Just crazy.
Line, and she'll tell you the guest, what episode, and like timestamp what you said.
It's
like,
crazy.
How do you do that? Yeah, she's typed out like every show.
Yeah.
So she has it cataloged in her brain somehow.
It's been pushed back, but where I work, they were going to make mandatory vaccinations or weekly testing as of the 9th of this month. And I got in touch with her. And not only did she send me a lot of information, she was almost daily getting back to me going, where are you at now? What have you done? Have you watched this? Like, she was genuinely concerned. I can't really talk about it, but I helped her out with something Plateauer Fest, and like there's a bond there, and she was really, and Dave too. Dave Weiss, he was really upset about finding out about that because I had very little time. I'm talking like somewhere around January 20th, and so I had, 20 days, and they had just shut down for 6 weeks, which is why I haven't finished my surgeries either, by the way. Yeah, so we got started with getting these implants, and then they shut down, and we had to spend all our savings. But then I found out I was about to lose my job. But luckily, something happened. I don't know what happened, but they pushed the mandates back indefinitely. But both of those guys, like, just
Well, yeah, the Supreme Court told OSHA they're not allowed to have that as one of their. It can't be a requirement.
Right. Well, that's what I thought too. But we're a little bit different because they're based out of Japan. Where my job is it's considered a international trade zone. Like, in other words, if you get if you get
U.S.
arrested,
soil.
right? Exactly. So if you get arrested across the street for stealing, it's misdemeanor. But if you go inside of our turnstiles and you do something, it's a big deal. Like, you're being prosecuted as if you're in Japan. Like, it's really weird. It's hard to explain, but basically the laws of OSHA are just null and void once you're inside the turnstiles at Nissan.
Wow.
So it's a whole different trip.
That shouldn't be allowed.
No shit, right?
American soil. Come on.
Right. Well, so I think maybe it's like kind of like an embassy, I think, if I understand correctly.
Well, yeah, they probably bought it with an allodial deed. So they actually own that land, and therefore they can, do what they want on that land. Yeah.
I guess so.
Which is supposed to be against the law, or at least it was at one time. You had to be a U.S. citizen to own land in the United States.
Right.
I think in Canada, isn't Canada, you have to be born in Canada to own land in Canada? Not just a citizen?
Not sure. We know Canada's under the crown, though.
Yeah. So do they really even own their land? Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't even know if they have the chance to get an allodial deed or something like that.
I have no idea.
But yeah, if you ever fall into some money and you want to go buy some land, definitely get you one of those types of deeds. Because you own that land, you don't pay taxes, you have mineral rights. There's all kinds of great things that come with it. You might have to pay your local police and fire department like $20 a month. Just set up a contract with them, a deal to say, if I call you, you'll come out and I'll pay you this much, because you're no longer part of anything. You're your own country pretty much. That's your land. And they don't tell us about these things anymore, that we can do this. But yeah, there are ways to actually own land. You'll see it in zoning. If you go look at zoning maps, you'll find some of them it says private. It's not residential, commercial, or industrial, or agricultural, anything like that. It's zoned private. And
hey, Buddha. Good to see you, brother.
Hell yeah, big shout out to Buddha. We need to get Buddha on here as well. We need to get Buddha on here. We need to get Miss Maze back on here. We loved having them both on at the same time, but I want to get a little more one-on-one time with each.
Hey, Buddha, my mom watched the paranormal episode we did on Melodone, and she loves you. She loves your vibe, your tone. Like, she really liked you a whole lot. She's actually here right now, hiding, but she loved you. I think more than me, so I think I'm going to borrow my mom for a little while by that. I was rocking him to sleep, but now I'm getting tired.
Yeah, it's, what is it, 9 o'clock?
Yep. It's 8 here. But...
8:06.
He is tuckered out, huh?
Oh, yeah. Can you see him?
Yeah. He's such a cutie.
See the top curls?
I know.
Do good work, brother. Good work.
Cotton-headed ninny muggins.
Yes, big morning. I'm gonna try to have Cammy up tomorrow, Mike. No promises.
I have a bad reputation for mornings. Sometimes, especially if it's like rainy or I'll have arthritis kick in. But yeah, mornings. I wake up at night, so mornings are not always my friend. Would like to work on that. One of those things I want to improve on. Rico, I hope you're getting more comfortable. And this is again building your confidence to talk. That's also people that have the gift of oration and natural radio voices. It's a true gift. It's something again that if you don't
Natural
have
radio faces. Is that what you said?
voices,
That's me.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I have. I have a face made for radio.
I'm getting better. Well,
Mhm.
it's mostly I don't mind waxing intellectual. I have a speech impediment because I'm getting implants. It's more hearing this impediment that's making it harder to communicate because I'm in my own head. Hearing that.
Oh yeah.
I don't mind going back and forth. I'm pretty confident like that at least have like with the shutter speed thing. Like I'm confident because I've been back and forth. I'm confident that I at least have a question. I lost my confidence because I didn't know that you were going to be on the show and that Bob was going to be in chat. That's where I kind of lost it a little bit. I was like, oh shit.
yeah, you never know who's going to show up in our chat. We get some pretty interesting names come rolling through here on occasion.
That's dope, man. I'm really honored that you had me on. Like I put it out there that I wanted to go on a few live streams before my show starts back, and I thought maybe one or two people would ask, but a lot of people have asked, and that's really cool, man. This is such a great community. I love you guys so much. This
And
is really great.
impediment is barely noticeable, barely impedes anything. And
you know what's weird? When I focus on it, it's worse.
Yeah.
like carrying a glass of water.
Yeah, Nathan, commercial sounded video. I've talked to him on the phone. He's like, "What are you talking about? I don't hear anything." And he came in town and we had Mexican food, and he's like, "I still don't hear it." But when I'm on video and I can see myself, I focus on it, and I'm like, like I can't get anything out at all. It's so weird. Like it's definitely psychosomatic. Like sometimes there's nothing there, like right now. But other times I'm just like it's weird. It's so weird.
Well, you're doing great, man. Yeah, just keep on getting onto the shows.
If anybody wants me on, by the way, I'm somewhat funny. If anyone has like a funny topic, like I'm a failed comedian after only 2 shows, but I write really, really good bad dad jokes. You know what? I have this thing going on. Every time Buddha goes live with Miss Mayas, I always start off with like a joke, and it's not spontaneous. I've been working on it for like 4 hours before they go live. Like, what can I do to make her laugh? Because her cackle makes me smile. So I'm like, oh, what can I say that's funny? Like, it's always self-deprecating, and probably, I'm not going to go into it, but it always works. So I'm addicted to that. So I love being funny. Oh,
yeah,
I love
man,
you,
you did.
Buddha, dude. You too. I like making you guys laugh.
Yeah, you did awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and sharing your tale with us.
Dude, thank you for having me, man. This was really special.
Well, usually this is where I say, well, hey, you've got the link. Been using the same link for years. Just click it, no problem. But shit, today, who knows if it'll work or tomorrow? Who knows if it still works? I don't know.
Dude, I promise you, it's somehow my fault. I guarantee it.
Things seemed to work real well once I restarted again.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a hiccup since then.
Kami, thank you for lowering your mental altitude to my level and hearing my ideas. They are what they are.
No, you would be fun. Like you say, it's hard when you're going back and forth and you want somebody to play with and throw the ideas back and forth that can do the visual games with it. That I also need that type of a partner. I like that. So it was a gift. It was a huge, huge gift to me. that you asked the questions. The fact that you were nervous just means that you don't know me very well, but hopefully that will change. And I'm screen sharing now, and what you were saying on, I think I'm screen sharing now, but do you recognize, like, you're saying the king of bad dad jokes and that? What did the sushi say to the bee? Wasabi? Sorry.
This is her brother Vince. He is hilarious.
This is the person earlier in the stream I told you that did the roller coaster rides. And just in case you're wondering what I grew up with, that is my brother. And
electricians have to strip to make ends meet.
If you're buying smart water for $5 a bottle, it's not working.
Where is he writing these? At church or?
What he did, the story on this is in a community called Indian Hills, Colorado, and it got to be, let's see if I can do this. Indian Hills, my brother got put in charge of the community center because he's always active in the community, right? So you have that community center that you see behind it. And in fact, we've had family reunions and parties there. See the little building I'm pointing to?
Yeah.
And this is outside of Denver. It's down a valley, Parmalee Gulch Road and that. So he lives there and he took care of that. Well, he started to have fun with the signs and people started loving it, and it got picked up in Reader's Digest. People from all over the world were posting and taking pictures and driving down the street to take a picture of his signs. And people would do it every day. It made the news and everything. Then the community, someone in Colorado was putting up signs, and it's a guy in Colorado. A lot of news story. The community decided they didn't like people driving down the road to do this. So, and at this time he had like tens and thousands of followers onto Facebook pages and everything. The community is like, well, we want all your followers in your Facebook page, but we don't want you to do the signs anymore. So they're in the midst of like stupidity, but he's now doing it just as an on the road instead of on the community sign that you see that this was actually there. He's now Vince the sign guy for anybody you want to pick it up. And you'll see the different. Awesome. He's doing this in his backyard, and also I think he's going to do a tour bus and travel around and meet people. But yeah, this is orneriness that I grew up with. Just sharing a little piece of fun. That again, another connection to make you feel maybe a little bit comfortable. I love stupid dad jokes. Makes me feel right at home.
I'm super proud of my dad jokes. Like there's no insecurity there. No, I feel like I've nailed it, even if no one laughs. Like there's one part where I'm not insecure.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times.
Awesome.
He's awesome. He is. He's just a cool guy. He's the only person that's been able to make me want to sit down and have a drink with him and just shoot the shit for real. It takes a lot to get me to, drink alcohol anymore. I used to have a problem, and now I don't have the problem, but I know myself, so I don't take shots. Well, I was hanging out with Vince one night, and he just asked, and I was like, you know what? It's Vince. And it was weird. I didn't even get drunk, Cam. When we were over at his house, I didn't get drunk at all, but I had like 5 or 6 shots of Jägermeister.
And you're at a very high altitude, by the way, too, even higher than we were in Denver. You're up in the mountains. It should have gotten you, but my brother had.
I didn't even get a buzz. Yeah, we were just having fun. It was cool. Yeah, Vince he's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I have a pretty cool family.
My wife owns property, cotton fields in Mississippi. When you're going towards the casinos, and I didn't know this before I met her. Clear Channel rents part of the property for the advertisements for the casinos, so we get free, like salad bars and rooms and whatnot. But did you know they pump extra oxygens into casinos?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know you were getting so drunk, so you spend more money?
Yep.
Yeah, I had no idea. It's super rude. Like, it's so shitty.
I wonder what kind of subliminals they play. Is there music playing in casinos? I've only been to a casino a couple times, but is there music ever playing in the background?
You know what? I went. I only took them up on it one time, and I lost $100 in like 10 minutes and left and said I'll never do this again. So I don't remember. I would think so, but I actually just don't remember. I do know that they got around. They couldn't have casinos in Mississippi. Look this up. I've had people that have been there, coworkers that have been there, that were like, "Oh, that's bullshit. You're making that up." And they look it up online, and sure enough. But do you know all the casinos in uh, what city is it? It's in Mississippi. They're all in the water. They're like these big barges, but
That's how it had to be in Indiana for the longest time.
yeah,
So,
like they got around.
It's
the rule.
illegal on land. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't let you on. They have to be like so many feet away from the dock to be considered out.
Yeah,
In the water. And even though you could hop on the boat, even though it's right there, just a couple feet away, they won't let you on and off when they're like.
No, Billington. No, it's sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Alabama, or Mississippi.
Tunica.
Tunica, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't.
Yeah. But you can't tell, like, if you can't tell, like, they're huge ass buildings that are built, and you have to walk over a bridge that you would just think was a bridge. Like, if no one told you, you wouldn't know. One of my managers, where I work at Nissan, goes there every vacation and had no idea they were on a boat. Like, they're huge, but it's just like them kind of bucking the system.
Yeah, they did that in Indiana, and then they did away with it. Indiana's been changing. They used to be like part of the Bible Belt, but Chicago and all that is just bleeding right into Indiana.
My son's diaper is definitely leaking on my pants right now.
All right, man.
That's definitely a thing.
That's the sign.
That's the sign.
No, I'm not.
That's
I'm
her
not being rude.
sign.
I'm very literal.
Well, thank you so much again, man. This was fun. I had a great time tonight.
Man, this was such an honor and be on the show with you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
And the link ought to still work. So you're still invited to use it whenever you get bored on a Friday night. Feel free to click it, hop in, just say hi if you want to. If you got something exciting.
You do understand I'm going to be here every Friday if you
Do
say
it.
shit like that, right?
Do it.
I'm just
Do it.
kidding.
No, come, man. Yeah, come hang out.
Cool.
It's good, at least until you get your show, if you want to do that, But you're always welcome. But yeah, if you want to just, get some more minutes underneath your belt, so to say.
And
all right, dude, Zach,
Yeah.
thank you all. This was great, and I'm so glad I'm past that.
And that's what it is. It's all about that comfort level and just having the confidence. And the only really good way to do that is to never, ever, ever listen back to yourself.
Ever. I don't ever listen to myself anymore.
Nope.
And that's
maybe a couple seconds just to see, like, if my temporary speech impediment's terrible. And I did that the first time I went on Alex's show or Austin's show, and I'm like, I'm never gonna fucking do that again. I mean, I did a lot of radio interviews back in the day when I could speak fine, and I wouldn't do it after listening back. I'm like, oh my god, do I only speak through my nose? Is that all I know how to do? But thank you guys so much.
Well, you're welcome.
Kami, Zach, Josh, me, Atticus. I love you guys.
Well, we love you too.
Love you, man. Take care, Atticus.
Sweet dreams, Atticus.
It's backwards.
I was going to say, I know I had something.
This looks like it's Weekend at Bernie's.
July 22nd through the 24th out in Ruskin, Florida. They're having this interesting little get-together called Unify FE Fest. They're talking live music, fire dancing, comedy, seminars, group activities, food trucks, FE merch vendors, water fun, camping, festivities, games, kid zones, and more.
Is it close to the water?
It's a really good question, Zach. I have zero idea where the hell Ruskin, Florida is.
Let me look it up.
But I just thought it was
I'll tell you if
interesting. I had
there's-
not heard anything of that until I happened to see it scroll across my Facebook page.
Oh, I'm getting word that it's on the Gulf side. It's by Tampa too. That's right near my buddy A. McKenzie. Shout out to A. McKenzie and the fam. Yeah, that's just right down the road near Tampa Bay, Ruskin. It's nice down there. I don't know how it'll be in. You said July?
July 22nd to the 24th.
Ugh,
So
I don't know.
there's a page on Facebook called Woke 88 FM. It's supposed to be some flat earthers. They have it a website. I know for sure. I don't know if they're actually on an FM dial broadcasting across public airwaves with this information, but I know that's the name of it. I believe is Woke 88 FM, if I'm not mistaken.
Very cool. Heck yeah, we love seeing more of these get-togethers and gatherings happening.
Damn Skippy.
And the golf doesn't scare me as much as the ocean for some reason. So I don't know.
Well, the hottest month of the year in Ruskin is July, with an average high of 90 degrees and a low of 77. I can do that. I don't know about my boys.
Adam's
my
gonna
zone.
get in chat. He said right now July is usually mosquito fest up there because it's near swampland.
Ooh, they like me. Mosquitoes like me a lot. I don't like that. Thank you, Adam. Also, this is for the person on the comments that I confused last week, and anybody last week I confused by taking them too far off topic and jumping in. I apologize. I did it even worse tonight. I didn't learn from my example at all. I took us out on a tangent,
awesome.
but we're on Iron Realm Media, and we get to do that. So that's one of the things I love about this show. And Rico, something for you to take note on is we enjoy breaking the rules. We have silent moments. We have we restart. We have issues, and we work through it all. And what we do is we have a bond and a learning bond, and that's what counts about it.
Yeah, big shout out to Rico's mom again. What
Yes.
a cool mom to have such an open mind, And yeah, that's awesome. You guys have that bond. I can tell that you guys are really close friends. And that's awesome. So we love you too, lady. You raised a great young man. Great man, I should say.
All right, then I guess that's going to do it, huh?
A. McKenzie's saying more like 120-degree heat index.
Ooh.
Yeah, Karen B is posting in her chat. Maybe we should do it, but under Flat Earth Festivals, she's got all of the different festivals. If you click into it, the West Columbia Flea Market one coming up, Fort Collins, Virginia Beach, Fort Pierce, Florida. Why aren't I sharing the screen? Karen, you are so incredibly awesome. Let's see if I can figure out how to screen share this really quick.
Big shout out, Karen B.
Big shout out, Karen B. You you affect a lot of people in such a profoundly good way. Thank you. I don't even know how to say thank you enough, but let's see if we can share screen. Let's share this one. Now let's move us up here on the single screen. But if you go to flatearthfestivals.com, are we sharing?
Indeed we are.
Look, I'm just scrolling down slowly, and she puts things in time, even West Columbia, all of the details, and you can click into it for more details. Sunday, January 30th and February 19th coming up. Fort Collins, Virginia Beach, Fort Pierce, Florida, Jupiter, Florida. Florida is doing good. Castaway Point, Florida. You rock on, Florida.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Every
have it.
first Sunday. Did you see that last one?
Mhm.
Every second Sunday. Wow, these are like weekly meetups they're having.
We were
This
doing
is amazing.
amazing. We were doing those in Colorado, in Fort Collins, and in Colorado Springs, and in Denver. And it's great to just meet up and have a group get together. There's nothing like it. There's, again, just to relax and talk to people that you don't have to feel guarded or, again, have that look like you were talking about your family, Rico, and I was thinking back to 2015 when my sweet, sweet aunt and uncle, who I adore, cherish, and it's just precious every time I get to see them. And my uncle just recently passed away, but they were in the downtown area, and I just learned about Flat Earth, and I remember the look on their face as we were sitting at the Hard Rock Cafe, and I was explaining how the Earth wasn't really a sphere and it was flat, and the looks on their face. If I would have had a camera to capture this look of, who are you? What the fuck are you saying? But just to get together with a group of people that, again, you can discuss open ideas, have the questions, and not have them be worried about asking stupid questions, because there really aren't any. Well, actually, there are some. That's not fair enough to say. But if you have to sit and ponder it on a while, it's probably not a stupid question. I ask stupid questions sometimes. We all do. Doesn't make them wrong.
The only stupid question is the one you don't ask.
No, Zach, that's not true. Remember when
Yeah,
I was
I
like, remember when I was looking out my back window and saying, "But no, you can't. How are you going to see the sun unless you go out the front door?" That was a stupid question. I'm just saying we all have our own. Every now and then something pops up, but overall there are none. That's one of those that, again, if you would have put another 5 seconds thought before opening your mouth, it wouldn't have popped out. So those are really the stupid questions, ones that you let pop out without thought. But if you have a question that you've been pondering on, it probably isn't stupid. If it's something that you've been trying to figure out, I haven't found any of those stupid questions. Only ones that fleet through your mind before you stop and think, oh, duh. We all have those, I hope. Hope it's not just me. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, love y'all.
Love you guys.
So what do you got for us tonight, Josh? What are we going to roll out with?
I made sure I got some drum heavy stuff that I put in here that was supposed to have been in the beginning. I wanted to make sure I got it set up somewhere just for Rico. And actually, now that I see it, Cammy may appreciate this one, even though woe is me, there is no woe in front of this man, but this is Rock Man. I thought was pretty good. Was the name of the song. So there's that.
Liz, if you go back and listen to this, because I think you're probably sleeping already, you have a fabulous day Sunday, ma'am.
Happy Corporation Formation Day. As our good pal Walter might say. Hey, that rhymes. I'm a poet and don't know it, but my feet show it because of how big they are.
You had me right up to the end right there.
Not Longfellows, you see. Like a poet. Henry Wadsworth. There you go. Anyway, thanks, Rico, for hanging out with us. Be sure you join us every Tuesday and Friday morning over on Truth Frequency Radio for the Ironworks. Otherwise, we are right back here every Friday night for Have No Sphere. Check out next Friday. We're going to have David M. If you're a grower of any sort, you'll want to check that one out because it's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to it because I need to send David M a couple emails before that happens. Anyway, you guys be good. Be well. Love you. Good night.